and Craig Smoak.
Sir, blah, blah, blah on the extended Big 12 schedule this weekend. Utah State, Brigham Young, Tulane, and Houston. Boy, Dana needs a win.
Man,
That's
Houston's
a Friday night game. That Brigham Young, Utah State's Thursday night.
Houston's such a disappointment, man. Like, that's such a disappointing team. I think, to have Clayton Tune be as much of a veteran as he is at this point, and I know you had the McCaskill injury, and that was a killer because I think he's a great player, and the sooner they can get him back next year, I mean, that'll definitely help matters. But, that was a bummer. But still, I mean, you got Clayton Tune back. You got some receivers that I thought were at this point going to be better than they are. I think the most concerning thing is not even necessarily the team itself. It's just that you see the clips and it's, fighting on the sidelines, and it just seems like the culture kind of sucks. I mean, the culture just doesn't seem to be in the place that it needs to be, and seems almost, well, as of, the last couple of weeks, kind of toxic, which that's not what you're aiming for, obviously, and that's something that Dana needs to get on if he hasn't already and correct quickly, because that's certainly not, helping them get out of this hole that they dug for themselves. And they were, was that Rice they were in danger of falling to, which would have been just an embarrassing loss that they were thankfully able to avoid. But, man, if they would have lost that game, that would have been really interesting to hear some Fertitta comments on the state of the program. But, it's bad.
SMU and UCF and Cincinnati, Tulsa. Those are the other ones.
Yeah, but they've got a Tulane team that just beat Kansas State on Friday. That's coming up, so you can't hope to get right against Tulane.
Let me tell you something. That dude at Tulane, Willie Fritz, can freaking coach, man.
Yeah. You have a road game at Navy, which nobody can ever really prepare for.
That's not the same Navy, though. That's not the same Navy, yeah.
But the thing is, what those schools have proven, if you are down in the dumps and aren't ready to go, that's going to be your tough loss.
You'll look like you're just bouncing into a wall.
Look, South Florida at home, that should be a win because they're about to be, I think, in the water for a coach here soon. But, SMU, Tulsa on that list. Tulsa, is okay.
All right, so
somebody
Houston,
in the chat room just asked why we have an Oklahoma helmet in the background. We probably put a Kansas State helmet on since they won that game. Go ahead.
They were yesterday.
What?
Kansas State.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
So Tulane, Houston, I think Houston's a slight favorite, but that could easily be a Tulane win in my mind. Who are the other ones you mentioned? BYU and Utah State. That should be a BYU win without question. That would be
SMU and UCF.
I don't think UCF's particularly that good. I don't get the real, I don't know, electric vibes that I was hoping for with Gus Malzahn and John Rice Plumlee, and just I don't know. I was kind of expecting more from them this year. They're kind of just sort of there. I don't know about that one.
Well, they lost to Louisville in a game that was low scoring, 20-14. They beat Georgia Tech. Of course, everyone is beating up on them.
They just fired their coach.
South Carolina State, they're supposed to, and then Florida Atlantic.
So this will be a really telling game for SMU. You see SMU. We've already seen a bit of what they're up to, and obviously TCU last week. But UCF's just kind of there, and I'm not sure how good they really are. So that'll be an interesting contest to see how they match up with the Mustangs. And then what was the other one?
It was
We already talked BYU. We talked Cincinnati
and Tulsa.
And they should win that game.
Tulsa's 2-2, Cincinnati.
Yeah, Tulsa's Davis Brin's a good quarterback. But that should be a Cincy win all day.
Tulsa's okay.
They're fine.
They're okay,
fine.
but they're not. I don't think they might upset some people, but I don't think it's going to be
not
anything.
Cincinnati. Yeah, even if that is on the road.
Yeah.
All right, from JG Neolardo, Dana Holgerson. And we saw this yesterday as well. Not taking responsibility for stupid stuff is not the best to announce to the public. It sounds very insecure.
Yeah, I think the thing that really got away from him, too, is I haven't had a chance to go back and really, dive in and really hear for myself what he said. But the way whatever he said comes across so poorly in text. When he's talking about, I'm tired of this blank and, having to tell a guy, that whole spiel. I was hoping that maybe with some context and going back and listening, he would make, be a little cleaner. And I don't know, maybe I need to do that because it certainly doesn't read very well. It reads like it's, a bad situation. And that's the vibes that we're talking about.
From Beer Smoker 4444, UCF needs a quarterback. That was his thoughts about that.
And the they thought they have one with John Rice Plumlee, but who transferred in from Ole Miss. He's certainly very athletic. He's very fast, but they're 3-1.
Yeah,
And
they're not horrible by any means, but I just expected them to be a little bit better. I expected them to be more of a quote unquote contender, not for like a playoff spot or anything, but just in the mix of the talking. And they really haven't been. They've been kind of an afterthought almost, but that could just be because of people waiting to sort of figure out who they are, and also just because what they've done to this point isn't necessarily going to trump what a lot of other people have done and a lot of the other, much bigger games and talking points. So we'll see how they do. Like I said, not bad by any means. I was just expecting maybe a little bit more chatter at this point. That's fine. That's my own false expectations.
We'll have Mac